Hello everybody, welcome to devlog number 1 of my super awesome maze game. I don't know the exact title yet, but that's coming. Anyways, as all devlogs should start, we're starting in paint. So basically the theme for this game is it's going to be a party game, and there's going to be one maze master and everybody else is a maze runner. So essentially the maze master every round will have like a top-down view of the maze. Let's say this is our maze, and then they have the ability to design the maze. Then the game will start and everybody else who's waiting will get dropped into the maze, and they're gonna have like a first-person view. So they're gonna be in there, you know, with the walls, and God, this is terrible, but that's the little bean. Anyway, so you get the point. They're in there walking around the maze and trying to find their way out. Meanwhile, the maze master has this top-down view here. Let's say our guy is like right here. He can see everybody else moving throughout the maze. And while the game goes on, he might have some like items in his bar here, maybe like a bomb or something, I don't know, maybe like some other stuff down here that he can use, and we'll just be able to drop that stuff in on these guys and mess with them while they're trying to escape the maze. And their objective is just to find the way out. You know, let's say this is the exit. Okay, so there's some main technical issues with this that I'm running into. I'm noticing that, let's say somebody's just like dogged at drawing the maze, and they make like a wall that like goes here and goes here, and like there's no way to get out to the exit. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is let's say they like start the exit, and then they just put them like at all places, like start over here, next place, or I don't know. There's a lot of opportunities for people to troll here. So I'm gonna try and like add some constraints so that people can't really do that. Okay, so naturally, as all new projects go nowadays, we're starting in Godot. And I've already prototyped up a little bit of the game here. Obviously, it's going to be multiplayer, so I started from the multiplayer standpoint, so it's going to be peer to IPs, the model that I'm doing. So we're going to have a dedicated server that hopefully can be expandable. And then basically what I've got set up here is like a little test scene. I've got the first person player in here. I've got the game master, which is literally just a camera facing down at the game world. And then I've got my game world here, which is basically just a flat plane. So I've added some logic here to spawn the players in, connect to a dedicated server, which makes it pretty nice and easy. And I've also added some logic to draw with your mouse cursor, and it'll like spawn some cubes. Let's go ahead and run the server here, and then I'll test a couple clients. There we go. Okay, client number 1. As you can see, everything's working perfectly. There's nothing wrong. Okay, there were supposed to be walls on this instance as well, but we're just going to ignore that for now. This green line is the solve line that the computer's auto-generating for the maze, and I came up with this solution to deter people from creating unsolvable mazes. So this is the game master's view, let's say, and he's just going to like draw the obstacles with his mouse cursor, which I think is pretty cool. And there's some constraints, like you can't draw it over the line itself, and you can't cross existing walls, so that makes it pretty easy to design this thing without making an unsolvable mess. And then of course we have our first person view here, and I've added a little test key to go ahead and send all these walls that we've made here on the game master side of things over to the client just via an RPC. So if we press M, boom, look at that. Now we have a bunch of walls in our maze here, and we can actively walk around in a first-person view and try and escape, even though there is no set path. Now notice on the Game Master side of things, he can see where our player is going and stuff. And eventually, I think I'll make this side like free cam, so you can kind of zoom in and move all the way around and look really closely in at all the players and mess with them. But this is kind of the main idea for now. Honestly, I think it's coming along pretty well. Not too shabby for like a day's work. Alright guys, day 2 on the base game project. Naturally, I got bored of coding and immediately went to music production. But anyways, I cooked up some absolute fire. Listen to this. Anyways, I was still kind of bored, so I immediately went to creating a main menu for some reason, which I think looks pretty sick. We're going with this placeholder name for now, and then I've added some like Godot shader stuff in the background with like these cool maze visuals. So I don't know if this is going to be the final product, you know, but I'm thinking this looks pretty sick so far. And like they kind of creep in from the sides there. Yeah.